computer. Bhagavad Gita for adults, 7 p.m. English. Today on chapter 9, obeisances to the beautiful deities of Sri Radha Govinda Temple, ISKCON, Mangalore, from where we are getting this beautiful class. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Tananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmeelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namasi Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisheshaya Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshatarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I hope everybody is taking it up. Those who are new and those who are old, I'm sure you know the determination is one of the key factors in the bhakti path. So we have to determinedly do as many rounds as possible. If you're doing 1 every day, make it 2. If you're doing 2, make it 3. If you're doing 4, try to make it 8. So increase the number of rounds of japa, because japa is the only yajna which is there in Kali Yuga. Only japa. Only japa is a way in Kali Yuga for us to reach the Lord. So all glories to the founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Guru Maharaj, the Temple President, His Grace Namnishra Das Prabhu, and my Guru Aishwarya Mataji. So we have this chapter's name is Raja Guhya Yoga, most confidential knowledge. It is the most secret of all. Why is it the most secret? Because everybody will not be able to understand it. And Krishna doesn't like us to talk this knowledge to non-devotees, because they will make fun of it. And when they will make fun of it, or they will say, it is also, I don't want to use the words that they usually use, whatever. But when they say those words, it hurts the devotee. Krishna doesn't want devotee to be hurt. So he says, no need. Don't talk about it to non-devotees. Don't talk. Krishna loves everyone. He takes care of everyone. He will protect them in their respective journeys when their time comes. We need not worry about everyone. There's no need for us to worry. But why are we seeking devotee association? That's because it's very easy to fall down. It's very easy. If you are a non-devotee association, it's very more easy to fall down. That's why you need to ensure that you have a daily devotee association, so that you stick on this path and you can get your, the cycle, you can get rid of the cycle of birth and death, which is not simple to get rid of. For birds and birds, we are stuck in this material cycle, and still we don't understand that it is enough. People don't understand. They still seek stupid material pleasures, 5 minutes sense gratification here and there, and they run after all that without realizing that they are getting more and more embroiled in their own karmas and desires, only making way for more and more births and deaths in this world. If they don't realize that, they have to use this birth to make it their last. And that doesn't happen just like that. You have to put in the required effort. So in this chapter 9, we can see there are 4 main parts. The first part, Krishna is going to reveal this very confidential knowledge. That is, there are three levels of confidentiality in the Bhagavad Gita. The first confidential, the basic confidential knowledge Krishna reveals in chapter 2. Can anybody share what is the, the basic confidential knowledge and the one revealed in chapter 2? Anybody would like to share? Yes, may I call you Lakita Mataji or Krishna Bandhu Mataji?
Ji, Mataji, you can call me Lakita.
Yeah. Okay, Lakita Mataji, can you share what is the first level of confidential knowledge that Krishna shares?
Aishwarya Jana, Krishna's relationship with this world.
In chapter 2, Mataji, Krishna will share the first basic confidential information which he gives Arjuna. When he tries to address, when Arjuna is saying, I feel so compassionate. And then Krishna says, there's no need to feel compassionate because, and he gives a reason for that. You remember?
We are a soul. We are not. We will never die. We will
Yes.
live forever, and we are souls, not human
Yes,
beings.
that's right, Ankur Prabhu. That's right. So the first confident information is that first of all, we are not the body. So we're not going to die. The body dies is just, very it's like you're opening the dress. That's it. You're just changing your dress. And so the soul is, you never die. The soul is there forever. It's eternal. So that is the most confident, the first level of confidential knowledge. The more confidential one is that when people start doing a lot of meditation and yoga, they realize the God within them. So the second level is the Brahman realization, or the realization that God is in everybody's heart, in every living entity. And then they are, they already feel at bliss with that. And then the highest confidential knowledge is a revelation that Krishna is a person, which is very difficult to actually internalize because Krishna doesn't come so easily. You can't just see, okay, so Krishna is a person, where is he? I want to see him. You're not ready. You're not ready to see him. Have your whole soul is contaminated with so much of desire and sin and lust, and your eyes are blocked, your transcendental eyes are not even open. You need to first cleanse yourself through chanting, and you have to be eligible. Suppose you want to meet the prime minister, you can't straight away meet. You make yourself eligible, and the prime minister will say, "Oh, and he should want to see you." That's what they say when you go to the temple. I've heard Namnishra Prabhu say, when you go to the temple, you don't go because you want to see God. You go, you become fortunate, and Krishna blesses you for you to be able to go to the temple so that He can see you. You have to become eligible so that the Lord wants to see you. So that eligibility comes through a lot of practice. In fact, actually it comes to pure love, which doesn't that pure love doesn't come straight away. It's the bhakti which is the highest in the ladder, and some people need to go through every step and reach, but then it's your choice. You can take the escalator and develop pure bhakti simply through chanting, devotee association, reading the books written by pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, and then you get that pure bhakti and you will see God, you will see Krishna. That is the highest and most confidential knowledge which he is going to be revealing. So before he reveals that, in the 9.1 to 3, Krishna glorifies that knowledge which he is going to reveal. And then he talks about his relationship with the world in the second part, which Lakita Mataji was noticing. In the second part of this chapter, he will talk about his relationship with this world. And in the third part, Krishna talks about different kinds of worshippers, the different levels of worshippers. And then finally, he talks once more. This is the Bhakti chapter. It's the most important, set. And again, he will talk about the glory of Bhakti. So let's begin. Before we proceed, this one I frequently have used in several chapters. Basically, this talking about these 9 processes, Shravanam, which is the easiest, which we're all doing now. Just hearing. Maharaj Parikshit, when he was about to die, he said, "I want to just, I want to know what is it I should do, before I die. In another 7 days, I'll die. What is it I should do?" So then Bhagavatam, he just hears the Bhagavatam from the highly elevated devotee, Sukadev Goswami. He's just doing kirtan, chanting, glorifying, singing the Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita. When people keep on, singing the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, chanting, that's all comes under kirtana. Vishnu Smaranam is when you are remembering. Like Bhakt Prahlad, whatever happens, his father is doing everything to kill him in so many ways, but he is so focused. All the time he is remembering Krishna, and he knows that, Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. If Krishna chooses to kill you, no one can save you. But if Krishna chooses to save you, no one can kill you. Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. It's a nice one. I really like that one. But nothing to worry. When Krishna is, has chosen that it's time for you to go, you'll go. No one can stop it. When Krishna chooses that, okay, no, you're not, you need to you need to stay. No one can do anything to you. It's everything happens only with Krishna's sanction. So then you can remember him all the time. Pada Sevanam is, like how Mother Lakshmi is so fortunate. She's all the time, at the lotus feet of the Lord, where, the whole world, all the devotees long to just stay there. Then we have Archanam, which is deity worship. So, for example, Maharaj Prithu, he is known for highest level of deity worship. Vandanam is praying, like Akrura, constantly in prayer. Dasyam is Hanuman. Sakhyam is friendship, like Arjuna, where you feel a strong sense of friendship. And Atma Nivedanam is complete surrender, like Bali Maharaj. He achieves that in spite of being a demon, and in spite of his guru telling him, no, don't give it. Actually, the Lord, this is the Lord. He's come to take away everything. He knew, he wanted to give his everything to the Lord. He willingly gives it. So these are, the 9 processes, and all 9 of these were achieved by none other than Maharaj Ambarisha. So let's move on to the next one. Today, my camera isn't working for some reason. So this first part, let's start with the first part where Krishna is glorifying the knowledge that he's going to reveal. And Krishna says that, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me. So again, here he's actually trying to give a condition to everybody else. If you're not envious of me, then you can listen to this knowledge. It's because you are never envious of me that I shall impart this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. Once you know that there is a loving God there, he loves you and nothing is wrong, he's there to protect you. Then once you realize that, and without any envy, there are many people who don't understand that they're envious. When they're fed up of hearing Krishna's name, it's because they're envious. When they get tired of listening to Krishna saying, I am God, that's because they're envious. So they don't understand that, what is it that is preventing them from really understanding the knowledge? It's actually envy. It's a difficult term to understand. We never pour our heart out to someone who's envious of us, right? If we feel that this particular person, I don't feel he's happy with my progress, you won't go and pour your heart out. Suppose you win something and you've done something great, you will not go and say it to somebody who's envious of you, right? Because you will feel that you're disturbing them also. They will also get disturbed, and we will also feel disturbed. Envy will blind people. It makes them misjudge us, although they're not in the position, Envy is something which is not, right for anyone. They're not in a position to judge us. But then envious people, they're blind, and whatever you do, they will misjudge you. The Lord clearly states in this chapter that he is the father of all the universes, and whole creation functions under his direction. Clearly, he declares it in the Bhagavad Gita. Yet, we see so many mistranslations of Bhagavad Gita. Why is it that people can't say that Krishna has said that he is the Lord of the universe? This one sentence you will not find in so many versions of Bhagavad Gita in the world. You might hear so many lectures by the non-devotees. They will not open their mouth and say this most important sentence, which is repeatedly said by Krishna: I am the Lord of the universe. Everything rests upon me. This one simple statement, which is all that the Bhagavad Gita is all about, this statement they will not say. They will say all other things. And they will say that this is all for us to gain material, things and focus so that we can study. But everything they will put it in material terms. And this basic spiritual transcendental knowledge, they won't say. Why? Envy. Where does this misunderstanding come from? Envy. They don't want to say that Krishna is the Lord of the universe. And not only that, they feel that people will not like to hear it. And they want to be popular. Prabhupada is one person who will not mince words. This is not to be done. It's not to be done. He will keep the highest standard and he will not bring it down. People told Prabhupada, why are you keeping this, this whole group, this organization's name as Krishna conscious? Why are you limiting it to, Krishna, people who will understand Krishna? Why don't you say God conscious? Prabhupada says, why should I? I know that God is Krishna. Krishna is declaring, I am God. Then why should I say God? It's just like, suppose, like today, Jaya Mataji said, recited the beautiful prayer, the beautiful shlokas. If I say this lady declared it, she's a lady, yes. Or there's an Indian, she said the recitation today. Or the co-host for today, she said it. I can just say some common name. But when I say Jaya Mataji recited so beautifully the words, it's immediately there's a closeness. I have recognized, I know her by name. So, Prabhupada says, name, Krishna. Krishna, we know the name of the God. We know he came in his original transcendental form to the earth when he came down as Krishna. Why should I not say, international movement of Krishna consciousness? Why should I not say that? Fine, people don't want to hear, let it be. There will always be people who are envious, they don't want to hear. Let us keep the name as Krishna. And even in terms of rules, there is nowhere that Prabhupada will bring it down. The level of purity that is needed to become Krishna conscious, he doesn't bring down that level at all. He will not mince words. 9.2, Krishna says, Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. So he says Raja Vidya, king of education. Raja Guhyam is the most secret of all secrets. Pavitram Idamuttamam. It's the most pure form of knowledge. In fact, this is the only knowledge. Actually, when you start understanding Bhagavad Gita, you realize I am a teacher in a school. And I feel so foolish when I just go to school and talk about only material things to my children, and I feel pathetic. What is a real knowledge? We're not at all teaching our children. We were not taught in our school. I learned in my ripe age, I'm coming to know about it, which I should have come to know years ago. I would have been such an elevated devotee by now. I'm struggling now with my, I'm aging. It's a struggle now. And I feel miserable that I can't even share this with children who I know should have this. It is very sad that, this is what knowledge is, and they call it Vidyalaya, school. They call school Vidyalaya, whereas actually it is a Vidyalaya. They teach them everything. And Krishna is declaring in one of the verses that all these, these qualities which are required to get the spiritual knowledge, teaching about them is knowledge. And he says everything else which is not related to Krishna is actually not knowledge. Because you're all dependent on your own mental calculations. And how much can your mental calculations really be true? If only you can just think a little, that we are just a limited, like a small cockroach, I had said once, like a small ant in the big universe. And we are trying to understand the whole universe, whereas we're supposed to simply open the scriptures in which the Lord of the universe is giving us all the knowledge we need. Of course, I will not say that you don't need skills to earn. I always say that you need to, get whatever skills according to your varnashrama. Based on that, your own qualities, you have to do your job, you have to earn, you need to get the skills required, fine. But the spiritual knowledge, it is like the ultimate, it must be given. Earlier, I used to think that how come these brahmanas don't share the knowledge with others? It is such a wonderful knowledge, and how come they didn't? But then when I started, moving more into Krishna consciousness, and when I started preaching and I started talking to people, I realized people don't really want to listen. When the class began, there were 30, then there were 20, then there were 11, then there was 10 yesterday. Today there are 7. They don't want to listen. They don't want to get this knowledge. Then, I don't, blame the brahmanas when they don't pass the knowledge, because the others, they're not eligible to even listen to it. They're not ready. They will walk away. They don't want to listen. They're not ready for this knowledge. It's extremely confidential, which only a few who are ready by the grace of Krishna who can understand this knowledge. It is a king of education, Pavitra Midam Uttamam, very pure. And it gives direct perception of the self by realization. You actually realize yourself. How much more important it is in this world, learning about everything around you. What is history, when this person king died, when that king died, what are all these, or how does water evaporate, what all this compared to knowing yourself. How important it is to know yourself. It gives direct perception of the self by realization. It is a perfection of realization, and it is everlasting, avyayam, susukham, and it gives joy once you joyfully perform this devotional service once you realize it. So here Krishna has explained about how important this knowledge is. In school when you're studying, if you're not serious, what happens? You will fail. You will stay in the same school. But in your journey of life, if you don't take interest in what your life is all about, what is this life manual in the Bhagavad Gita, if you don't take interest in that, you will simply remain, you will stay back in this material world and the cycle of birth and death. You will not, graduate to the spiritual world, which is actually our ultimate destination. You won't. You will stick here. So you need to have, the awareness that spiritual knowledge is what we get in the human birth, and I must get it. And how does this faith come? I told you, in this material world, Maya will keep on pulling us down, to keep on trying to test us. The Lord has asked her to test it. Durga Devi, she is given this job. Keep them in control. With the threads, ropes of the three gunas, she will control us. Faith will come and will stay only with association of devotees. So listening to lectures of realized gurus, if I don't listen to a little bit of Gita or Bhagavatam, if I don't sit and associate myself with some form of lectures, I'm in a place where I can't have direct association with devotees. I don't have devotees around. My temple is very far. But if I don't have some online association, I attend the Bhagavatam classes, I feel incomplete. I know that I'm going to fall any moment. I may give up any moment. So listening to lectures of realized gurus like Prabhupada, reading the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita, all these are very important to stay in faith. So even after these 18 days are over, if you really want to continue your spiritual journey, somehow find a way either to level 2 or start chanting, or keep devotee association, pure devotees. And faith has 3 levels. So like I told you, Krishna talks about different levels. So he talks about Uttamadhikari, which is the highest one. Madhyamadhikari, they are not stable, but yet they are non-envious. They have understood that Krishna is the Lord. And the Kanishtadhikari, they are unable to distinguish between a real devotee and a fake one. Most of us are actually in Kanishtadhikari, but because preaching is really required, we have started preaching, though we are still struggling to reach the Madhyamadhikari stage right now. We're all still new to this knowledge. Let's look at the example of Narada Muni, which shows importance of association. So Narada Muni, because of a curse, he was born into a Shudra family. His mother was a maidservant. She was running an inn. She was doing the work at an inn. That is like a hotel sort of thing. And there were devotees who had come to stay at the inn. Devotees, they just travel from place to place. So there were some pure devotees who had come to stay there. And in their association, Narada he was this little boy. He would just listen to them talking to each other. Of course, devotees will only talk about Krishna. They will not talk about Gramin Katha. This gossip, that gossip. What did he do? He did that. My goodness, he did that. So abominable. This person, look at that. All this gossip about people, about this person and that person and this, they don't do that. So he had the fortune to listen to these devotees only talking about Krishna all the time. And he somehow felt that, I should be in close association. He requested them that whatever food after they eat is left over, may I eat that. So eating the leftovers of those devotees, listening to them day and night, he got so purified that later on, when these devotees were leaving, his mother died because of a snake bite. And he actually realizes that this death of my mother, which has happened when I am such a small boy, is actually for my benefit. He actually realizes that anything that happens is good. Although it appears bad, it's actually got something, some meaning. And then he just continues his association with these devotees. He goes with them, traveling around. And then when he, after this birth is over, he achieves, he's Brahma's son. He achieves this position of becoming a transcendental worshipper of the Lord. He's gifted with this beautiful veena, and he can just travel anywhere he wants. Suddenly he'll go to Vaikuntha, then he'll come to the earth, then he can go to any universe, anywhere. He achieves that pure form. Only because of devotee association, he reaches that high level. So Krishna 9.3, he says, but those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service, they surely cannot attain me. Later on in the chapter 15, Krishna says that I am the one who gives people remembrance and forgetfulness. If they don't want to remember Krishna, good. Don't remember me. Go and keep on enjoying in the material world, running after your, carrots of the world. No need to remember me. So those who don't want to remember, Krishna will allow them. Fine, forget me. So those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service, they cannot attain Krishna. O conqueror of foes. But what will happen to them? They will just return to the birth and death in this material world. Without even realizing that this is a jail, they will just keep on aspiring, for different things inside this. So we are actually, the truth is that And still, that's why we can see people who have in even the material world, whatever achievements they do, there will always be a sense of dissatisfaction. Why? Because they're not really achieving what they truly want. We are all in this universe. Every living entity in the material world is actually like fish out of water. This world is not our real home. Even if we get all pleasures, suppose there's a fish, you give him a drink, you make him sit at the beach on the side, you put an umbrella and you make him, give him some drink to drink. We cannot be happy like that. So what should we do then? To realize our true dharma, because we are not this body. To realize our true dharma, we have to read the Gita and we have to find our way back to our real home, which is Krishna's abode. So here's a picture of a fish. You give him a nice slippers. It looks as if he's smiling and enjoying. He's having a straw, some nice drink and everything. He's on an easy chair and it appears like he's enjoying. But no, he's not. He's actually a fish out of water because the real home is there. I don't know about many of you, but I have frequently felt this urge. I want to go home. That I want to go home. And then we realize this is only home. Even if you're at home, you feel, I want to go home. And you really feel that, this is actually not our home. I'm not sure if you have felt that, but see, we may make all luxuries and comfort and everything is well and good, but it's not home because our spiritual world is our home. We are soul and we actually belong to spiritual world. And here we are in the cycle of birth and death, which is very, very painful. Birth is also painful. We don't know when the baby is born, we're like, yay, the baby is born, happy birthday. And we congratulate everyone. But what a painful thing the baby, experience a baby has gone through. Those 9 months inside the mother's womb is described in the scriptures. You will not find in the medical field or anywhere where anyone thinks about the pain that the baby has gone through. They just see the baby has come out, everything is fine and good, and they look whether the baby is normal and they are very happy. It's good, fine, the baby has come into the world, but it's your responsibility as parents to ensure that this is his last birth and he doesn't have to go through the cycle again because it's a painful cycle. It's a painful cycle. Birth is also like, so many scorpion biting, that much of pain. There are all those microorganisms. There's a stench of coming from the rectum of the mother and it's so, tight. You're all bent. You're just waiting to come out of 9 months of struggle. No one says it's a struggle. People don't think of the baby struggle. Death, of course, people may sometimes know. Otherwise, they may feel he passed away very peacefully. But death is also painful. And in between, all these endless diseases and growing old. And so, see, I'm aging slowly. Sometimes when I'm reading the slokas, I'll read slokas in the morning classes. I thank God today I'm able to read because my eyes sometimes seem to fail. As I'm aging, I can feel my eyes are failing. My ears start failing. Slowly you're becoming weaker. You can feel, I walk so much in school, my heels start paining, my knees start paining. I need to lose weight. But still I know age will catch up. Age is going to catch up. Age is going to, you can say, oh, I'm young, I'm 90 years old, but I feel like a 9-year-old. You can say all that, but the truth stays the same. There is old age, there is disease, there is pain. It's all painful. So Krishna will explain about his Aishwarya Jnana, his relationship with this world next from 9.4 to 10. So in this universe, Krishna says that this whole entire universe is pervaded by me. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. This is actually a verse which is slightly difficult to understand because we wonder, Krishna is saying that all beings are in me, but I am not in them. What does he mean by that? How do we understand this statement? All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Whereas he is in the form of Paramatma. Now, in the form of Paramatma, actually, he's an extension of Vishnu. And then Vishnu creates all the universes. And then he enters into all, and then the living entities are created. And then the expansion enters into all the living entities as Paramatma. He is God. He is there everywhere. But why does he say, I'm not in them? Krishna's energies are everywhere. But he's not really every because he won't be visible to us in the material bodies. He is not visible. And moreover, he is renounced. By saying that he is not, and then he means to say that he's not going to interfere in our cycles of birth and in our cycles of our own karma and desires. He will not interfere with the job of Maya. He has allotted this job to different administrative people. And they are doing all their jobs perfectly. Nothing can be without the awareness of Krishna. Krishna is aware of everything and everything happens with his sanction, but he is detached. It's important to understand, because then we will stop complaining. Oh God, you are so cruel. You did this to me. But he is not doing anything to us. He is renounced and detached. We have ourselves brought whatever in our life. It's because of us ourselves. We have chosen that because of our own karma and our previous desires. Everything comes to us because of our own choices. And Krishna doesn't interfere. He allows Maya to do what is supposed to be done, and we are given what we are, deserve. Whatever we deserve, we are given that. That is a relationship which Krishna has with us. And he says, and yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living things and although I am everywhere, still myself is a very source of creation. So Krishna is a source of everything, and he is actually everywhere. He maintains all of us. Nothing can stay in its place without him. It's like it's difficult to perceive the idea. Just like a mighty wind is blowing everywhere, always rests in ethereal space. Know that in the same manner, all the beings are resting in the Lord. We don't have any existence without the Lord. Later in the chapters, we will see how our digestion, how our respiration, every single thing, even if we want to move our finger and hand from here to here, it's only because of Krishna that we are able to do that. He is the one who gives us a sanction to even move a finger. The whole cosmic order is under me. That is a, extremely unchangeable relationship that we have with Krishna. Krishna says, by my will, the whole universe is manifested again and again. And by my will, it is annihilated at the end. So this annihilation and manifestation takes place according to, there are two types that it takes place. Once is the Brahma's day and night, and once it happens when Brahma's life gets over. There's 100 years, that is 100 Chatur Yugas get over, and and also every time he's sleeping one day and one night also, every time the world comes to an end. But what happens is just that they're temporarily in the unmanifested form, and they merge with the Lord, and then again with their own tendencies, wherever they left off, right? Like suppose according to the karma and desire, they were supposed to become whatever next. Same thing, when they manifest again, they will go back and start from the same position. Oh, Dhananjaya, all this work, however, cannot bind me. Krishna is not a doesn't bind him. He is free from all that. He is in a spiritual world. He is a supreme personality. It's like we are in the jail, and Krishna is, comes for some time, and sometimes he appears here and there. He wants to help us to go back to him. And then he is actually detached. He's just coming in between to give joy to those who are devotees, who are reaching out for him, helping them to come back to him. And that is all. He says, I am detached, seated as though neutral. It's like the judge. You can see the example of a judge. The judge is sitting there listening to all these different cases, and then he will impartially, he will listen, and then he will pronounce a death sentence or whatever. And then and he is not affected by it. He is just pronouncing whatever the person he thinks it deserves. And ultimately, in the Krishna world, no decision is wrong. The judge may make a mistake, but what actually happens, nothing happens which is wrong. Krishna's court, nothing can go wrong. Everything goes perfect. This material nature, Krishna says, is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all the different moving and unmoving beings. And by its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. So I think this part we have said. So Krishna is, again and again, he's saying the supreme controller. He is there everywhere. So this is his relationship with the world. He's neutral. He is renounced, and yet he is there everywhere. Different types of worshippers are there, which Krishna will explain. Does Krishna come under the influence of Maya? Now, some worshippers, they think that Krishna has come into this earth and he is also under the influence of Maya. What kind of people are they? Moodha. Krishna will clearly use a word. He doesn't mince words. He says, Avajananti ma moodha. Fools. Fools will deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature. Manushim tanum ashritam param bhavam ajananto. They don't know his param bhavam. Mama bhuta maheshwaram, and my supreme dominion over all that be. Krishna is there everywhere. He is everything. This fact people cannot understand. Who cannot understand? Fools. Krishna does not disturb Maya and he is free from it. They think that, oh, when he comes onto the earth, he is also, has all karma and karma phala, and, he is getting the fruits of some. Nothing. Krishna is absolutely free. Krishna is the Lord. Many people just can't see that. We are also struggling. I'm also a new devotee, struggling to really understand. Maya is in Krishna's control and she follows Krishna's instructions. When a good citizen, I just said a while ago, when a good king visits a prison, he cares for his citizens. Although they are criminals, we are all criminals. We are in this jail. Why is our soul trapped in this horrible material body and we are not able to be free? Why is it that we have all this mind, intelligence and false ego covering us? And why is it that we are not free? Because we deserve to be imprisoned this way. We are criminals. It is from the goodness of Krishna's heart that he does, he genuinely worries about us. He says, come back now, understand that this is not your world. And he keeps coming. He's giving us a Gita Upadesham, this love letter for us. Majority of the prisoners, they feel happy, okay, the king has come and they cherish his company. But there will be some atheists and demons who will point to the king and say, look, he's in the prison now. He is one of us. He's a prisoner. These are the avajananti mam mudha. They don't know that he's a Lord who has come. They think, oh, he's also now going to suffer, like us. He's also in the prison. They don't know that he's free from Maya and he's a Lord. So understanding Krishna as a Lord, which is the most confidential knowledge, is what is conveyed in this chapter, Rajaguhya. Rajaguhya Yoga. Then he says that those who are thus bewildered, they can't see Krishna as Krishna. What are they attracted by? By the demonic and atheistic views. Thank God you could come to this class and listen about this, because otherwise, maybe in your search, you might reach to a non-devotee who will give you some totally wrong information. He won't even tell you Krishna is a Lord. And in that deluded condition, once you're in the deluded condition, it's sometimes difficult for people to unlearn what they have learned. Then their hopes for liberation is over. They have no more hope for liberation. Why? Because they haven't understood this transcendental understanding that Krishna is transcendental. They haven't got it. Somebody has misguided them. Maybe it's not time, because with Krishna's grace, it will happen. Krishna's grace is not there, you won't. Krishna will not give you that knowledge. So their fruitive activities, their culture of knowledge, everything is defeated. They think that, wow, I won this trophy today, but what? It has no meaning. If the person he is given whatever he has done to Krishna, and he has won the trophy, and he thanks Krishna, he associates everything with Krishna, he is in Krishna consciousness, then yes, then he's on the way, he's fulfilling his duty to his soul, and he's on the way back to spiritual world. That is fine. But if you're all the time running without understanding Krishna and just running after things, fruitive activities, then it's all defeated. Krishna says, anything in which I am not attached is useless, he says. Krishna himself declares that. He says, oh son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, they are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service, because what kind of people will be fully engaged? Because they know that Krishna is original. He is the cause of all causes and he is inexhaustible. So in this picture, we can see Madhavendra Puri. We cannot ever compare with him. He is an extremely elevated devotee. He doesn't want to do anything. He just sits and all the time he's chanting. If someone gives him food, he eats it. If food he doesn't receive for the day, he will just sit starving. He only wants to chant. Now, Krishna comes himself to give him food. He just sits and chants all the time. Krishna, you can see in the picture, Krishna, the little boy comes and gives him food. And once he says, you're not able to recognize me, I am Krishna. And he tells Madhavendra Puri in a dream that, there's a deity hidden in a specific place. It was destroyed during the Mughal rule. And he says, I want you to take that deity and establish it. And then Madhavendra Puri, he establishes a temple in Vrindavan. The exact name of that particular temple, I can't remember. If anyone of you know, you can please share. But that is the story. This picture depicts the story of Madhavendra Puri. So next we have this very famous verse. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination. I am determined to chant 24/7. Going down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me. Only very few can do that, right? Bahunam Jananam Mumkin. So here we can see this beautiful picture. Let's play that again. This is a picture of how Srila Prabhupada, he motivated so many people to take to devotional service. So let's watch this short video. And this is actually one of the first Ratha Yatras that Prabhupada organized. So what is Ratha Yatra? Actually, we are supposed to go to the temple and pay our obeisances and thank the Lord for everything every day. We are supposed to go to the temple and thank Him. Okay, those who can't go to the temple because of something, they should have a temple in their house and they have their deities and worship every day. Now, some people who don't go to the Lord in the temple to pay obeisances, actually the deity in the temple is considered to be a form of God Himself. He's there in the temple. He's not just a piece of marble or stone. Krishna is there. He agrees to come and be there in the form of the deity for us. He agrees to put in all His power in His name. That's why when we chant His name, He is in all His potency. He's there in His name. Krishna says He's there. And when we fail to do that, fail to do what we're supposed to do, then we have these great devotees who carry the deity and take it all across, the city. And then he says, okay, people come out at least of their house to just pray and see with the Lord. So this is one of the Ratha Yatras. Even as a little child, Prabhupada had done it when he was, taking his father's permission. Then later on, at the ripe age of 70, when he starts his ISKCON movement, people all over the world start doing Ratha Yatra. ISKCON temples all over the world, they do Ratha. This is one of the first Ratha Yatra. You see, they so enjoy.
This is the story of the Hare Krishna people.
There is at one point when he turns around and he jumps when he's paying obeisances to the Lord. And this is actually, you should watch all these and it really will make us understand how, the miracle that Srila Prabhupada caused. He got people of the world to understand and enchanted with Krishna. To a school kid, for example, just looking at an example, to a school kid, the school is a whole world. He thinks the school is my world. In primary school, he thinks that the physical instructor going all around giving instructions, he is the owner of the school, who's, blowing whistles and keeping the everything in control. And in high school, he thinks, okay, the principal is actually the owner of the school. And then further, when he joins college, he realizes, oh, the school is owned by someone. There's some chairperson somewhere sitting. And they have employed all these teaching and non-teaching people and administrative staff to keep the school running in smooth function. So it takes us, we are now like neo-devotees. We are understanding little by little this world around us. And later on, eventually we come to that the Lord of the universe sitting up there in the spiritual world is actually in control. And all these different deities are doing their respective administrative duties. In 9.17, Krishna says, I am the father. He says, Pitaham asya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara riksama yajur evacha. Krishna says, I am the father of the universe. I am the mother. I am the support. I am the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge. I am the purifier. I am the syllable Om. I am also the Rig, Sama, and Yajur Vedas. So initially there were only these three Vedas. Other expansions came from these Vedas. So Krishna is telling us in this beautiful verse that he is actually our everything. He is everything to us and he is the object of all knowledge. In this shloka 9.17 of Bhagavad Gita, where he is giving us the most confidential knowledge, the chapter itself is called Raja Guhya Yoga. Krishna reveals to us, this is who I am. And why is he saying this? Because he loves us. It's because he loves us that he's saying it. But people who are envious, they don't want to hear what? What is he saying? The Prime Minister comes and says, okay, I'm the Prime Minister. What? He's boasting. So they can't understand, it's because the person loves you so much. Krishna loves you so much. He says, I am the goal, I am the sustainer, I am the master. In 9.18, he says, I am the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place and the eternal seed. Oh, Arjuna, I control the heat, the rain, the drought. I am immortality. I am also death personified. Both being and non-being are in me. Now, these verses, I would really request all of you to read this Bhagavad Gita as it is Srila Prabhupada's purport. There's no time for me. I'm already running late. You should read and read and read till it enters, because it is very difficult for us to really understand the true purport of all these, verses where Krishna says, like he is, you can see over here, person who's running the music. The whole music of the world is, Krishna. What is this Ferris wheel? This Ferris wheel is an indicator of our life. We do good karma, we go up, we enjoy all the heavenly delights. Krishna says in 9.20, those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Then they take birth on the planet of Indra or other heavenly planets. We get special bodies through which we can enjoy better. And we enjoy all that. So up. We go up. Wow, so nice. We go up. And then we come straight down. Why? Because when they have thus enjoyed heavenly sense pleasure, then they have to return to this mortal planet again. Thus, through Vedic principles, they achieve only flickering happiness. That is what is called fruitive activities. So they have to again come down, and then they have to struggle to go up, and then they reach up and they feel yay, and then they come down again. So this is the analogy of the Ferris wheel. The class A class jail and B class jail. You're up there in the heavenly planet, you're in an A class, again jail only. And then you go down to either the earthly planets or if you do something bad, even worse, hell, and you're in the B class and C class jails. But it's all a jail anyway. This is a very important verse. Again, actually chapter 9, every verse is crucial. Ananya shintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham. Yogakshemam vahamyaham is used by LIC. Basically, it means that I carry what you lack and I preserve what you have. So they're trying to say that the LIC policy is going to preserve what they have, but it is not the LIC or any other, person or institution can ever be the ones who protect us, because Krishna, of course, they may do the whatever is required, but ultimately it is Krishna who protects us. He is the one who preserves. He carries what you lack. So there is this famous story of Arjunacharya. Sorry, I have written Arunacharya. It's Arjunacharya. He had read this verse and he thought, oh my God, why should the Lord of the universe come himself to carry what, a devotee lacks? This shows a love that Krishna has for a devotee. For a devotee, Krishna will come himself. And Arjunacharya, what he does is he changes the word a little bit in the Gita. He changes it in such a way that it's not like I come myself. He says, no, the Lord doesn't have to come himself to protect. And then later on, after making that change in the Bhagavad Gita, he goes to take a bath. When he goes to take a bath, these devotees are often have very difficult material lives. There's nothing at home. The grocery is over and his wife is wondering, oh my God, there's nothing today. What do I do? What do I cook? And then two boys come along. One is dark and one is fair. And they come and bring her all the required grocery and things which are not there in the kitchen, they bring everything for her. And then they show her, a lot of grammar mistakes, sorry. They show her the red mark. And she asked him, my God, what is this? And he says, your husband has done this. He's the one who has put this mark on us. And then they go away. So the God himself comes for to give the devotees what they need. And then when Arjunacharya comes back, he says, his wife says, I don't know that you started beating children and you started, doing this. It's so miserable. Two boys came and they showed me the mark that you have created. And he was shocked. What are you saying? He said one boy was dark and one was fair. And then he realized this is probably Krishna and Balrama, they have come themselves. And then he realizes his mistake, that actually Krishna, he realizes that, you cannot change the scriptures. Every word of scripture is the ultimate truth. and he cannot make a change. Actually, Krishna does come himself for the devotees. Once you become a devotee, he comes himself. So that is what this verse is about, the pastimes. So we have pastimes of Yamunacharya also. So we won't go through many pastimes now further today. Let's move to the next one. We're already into almost 8. So then in 9.23, Krishna says, whatever a man may sacrifice to other gods, O son of Kunti, is really meant for me. But it is offered without true understanding. So people may want a beautiful wife and they pray to the goddess. They may want strength, so they pray to, the respective god. They want knowledge, they pray to like goddess Saraswati. But whatever are the different things they are praying for actually comes, all those actually reach Vishnu or Krishna. And he is only the one who is giving everything. But this true understanding they right now don't have, because neophytes in this whole world, has like so many, they have to pass through so many births, and even after getting human life there are so many levels they have to go through before they come to the position of understanding Krishna. Like I told you about the school, the analogy of a school child. Now we have this verse 9.25 where Krishna says that those who are worshipping the demigods, it's also given in chapter 3, will take birth among the demigods. So if you're worshipping any particular demigod, all the demigods live in the material universe. They are all highly elevated devotees and they are worshipable. We do, pay obeisances to all of them and respect them. Nobody is decrying them. It's just that we know that they are demigods and actually the power comes from the Lord. So those who worship ghosts and spirits who are in Tamogun, they will take birth among such beings. And those who worship ancestors, they will go into the world where the ancestors are there. And those who worship Krishna, only they. You can't, say pray to something else and expect to go to Krishna. If you want to go back to the spiritual world, you have to pray to the spiritual, where the Lord resides, the spiritual, the Krishna. You have to pray to Krishna. So then finally, we've come to the last part, the glories of Krishna Bhakti, from the last part of this chapter, where Krishna explains, these people who are impersonalists, they will not even understand this verse. They will think it's some imagination. What is Krishna saying? Give me a flower, a fruit, as if Krishna can eat. What is he saying? And they will not even really understand. So Krishna, actually, he can eat with any part of his body. In fact, he creates all the universes not using genitals or something. He can just, with a glance, he can create universes. He becomes the father of this whole world just with a glance. He just requires a glance. He is transcendental. Every part of his body can do all other functions of every other part. It's like you cannot imagine. Krishna is inconceivable, but he is a person. That's why we offer him. He says, offer me, give me. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. He will actually smell and taste, because he doesn't need to have, he doesn't need to come and actually eat to taste. He is transcendental. He actually comes. If you're calling him with your pure love and devotion, he will actually accept it. And that is why prasadam tastes so good. If you go to any of the ISKCON temples and taste the prasadam, it will, always taste so amazing. I feel so sorry I can't go regularly and take the prasadam from the temple because it's so tasty. Somehow, I'm waiting for Krishna to be graceful and I can do that more often. The prasadam, even at home we do that, but something special about the prasadam in the temple. You keep offering, you eat only, Krishna says in chapter 3, you have to eat only what you offer, because then it gets sanctified. We don't understand that our emotions, our prayers, our thoughts, they all actually carry energy. We don't know that, how much energy. That's why you sit and chant in a corner, you feel, what is this useless, what is the benefit sitting and chanting? They don't realize the immense benefit that person who's chanting is doing for the whole world in the cycle of sacrifice. People don't know. If they read the Gita and try meditating on it, they might understand a little bit. Even the plants and trees whose flowers or fruits you're plucking and offering, you think, my goodness, they're plucking all this. But actually, those plants are getting blessed because they are also involved in this prayer, in this sacrifice. And even the people who are, probably selling those fruits from where you're buying, the fruit vendor, and everyone along the line, when you make the offering, they're all getting the parts of the blessing. So you do a great service when you do all these offering, prasadam, chanting. Krishna says, Yat karoshi yadashnashi yad juhoshi dadasi yat tapassisi kaunteya tat purishva madarpanam. He says, all that you do, what you eat, all that you offer and give away as charity or whatever, as well as any austerity you perform, remember to connect it with me. Do it as an offering to me. That is how you become Krishna conscious. So this is how he's telling you how to become a top devotee. And here Krishna says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu na me dveshosi na priyaha. Krishna is telling us, I actually love everyone. Everyone is equal to me. Na me dveshus, what reason does Lord have to be envious of us? No reason, but still he is declaring, I don't envy anybody. I'm not partial to anybody. I'm equal to everyone. Na me dveshosti na priyaha. And I don't have any special favor for anyone. But, this important but, there's a but which comes there. He says, Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai te teshu chapyaham. There is nothing the Lord can do about, the unconditional support that he gives to the devotees. The devotee, as to the level of how much they surrender, to that level, the Lord will come and be there. He will be there for you. He is in you and he is your friend. He has to, that is his relationship with devotees. How can Krishna be equal to all at the same time be partial to his devotees? Because his reciprocation to a devotee is not normal. It is transcendental. The devotee's relationship with the Lord is not material. It's not for any return. We don't go to Krishna saying, I want this, I want that. Though actually we do go like that. We should actually just go. Krishna knows everything. And that relationship of pure love, which is unalloyed, with no expectation of any return and no desire, we're just going. We're not expecting any return. We're not saying, oh, I want to actually be like Sudama. I'm coming to you. You better make me. No, there's no deal, no bargain, nothing. You just go because you love Krishna. And that is a pure, transcendental relationship. And then Krishna has no choice. He has to be reciprocated. He will reciprocate. That is the reason why it appears that he is partial to his devotees. Even if you, and such a devotee, once you're into devotional service, even if you end up committing the most abominable action, but you have a devotional loving relationship, it's just a fall, then such a person is considered still saintly. Why? Because he's properly situated. Krishna forgives accidental falls like a loving and patient mother. Actually in this material world, the closest that, a love can get to the love of Krishna is a mother's love. A mother's love can only, even mother's love is like a million mothers' love is equal to Krishna's love. So even a mother's love is, incomparable to Krishna's love. But, just for a comparison for us to understand, just like a child will fall and everybody would say, look, he's going on falling or, whatever. The mother will say, wait. And she will always be clapping and motivating. He will walk. Give him a chance. So accidental falls will happen. And even then, if you're in a devotional relationship of love, you are still properly situated. And then, it is forgiven. Krishna says that he quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. And then Krishna says, you know what? He says, oh, son of Kunti, whenever he wants to show his closeness of relation to Arjuna, he says, oh, son of Kunti, to show that, we are so closely related. He says, oh, son of Kunti, you know what? I want you to declare boldly that my devotee never perishes. Why does Krishna ask Arjuna to declare? Why can't he declare? That's because, in his life as Krishna, when he came to the earth, when he came onto the earth, there were many instances when he did not keep his own promise because he wanted to keep the promise of his devotee. Like Prahlad, when Prahlad, when his father asks him, hey, you say Krishna is everywhere, is he in this pillar? And Prahlad says, yes. And he's everywhere, he is in the pillar. And then when he smashes the pillar, out of the pillar, Krishna appears as Narsimha. He appears. He wants to keep the word of his devotee. Pure devotee's word he will keep at any cost. Well, in the battle of Mahabharata, he promised he will not take up a weapon. But then when he noticed that Arjuna is failing to, really put in all his best because he couldn't fight with his guru and with Bhishma, he was not doing his best. He actually picks up the chariot, he breaks his promise. He picks up the wheel of a chariot and he's about to fight till Arjuna comes running and pleads, no, don't. I will fight. I will do my best. Please don't break your promise. So Krishna will, for his devotee, his words, he will even break it. So he says, even my words are not, but the devotee's word he will keep at any cost. So he says, you give the word to the world, because then people will believe you. Because my devotee, when he gives a word, that word will be kept at any cost. Krishna will protect that word, because a devotee is more important for him than himself. There are so many stories. Even even Ambarish, when Durvasa Muni, he gets so angry, and actually he was purposely doing that, and he creates that big demon, which ultimately starts running after him. He's running, Durvasa is running all over the different universes, and ultimately he reaches Vishnu. So Vishnu says, I can't do anything about it. You have to go to Ambarish only, and you have to ask him only for forgiveness. So that is how even the Sudarshan Chakra was in the control of Ambarish Maharaj at that point of time. No one could help, him. So this is how Krishna, that's why Krishna says that you declare it to the world that my devotee never perishes. And that's why he's asking. Now let's come to one of the last verses. Mam hi partha vipashritya. So this one is, he says, O son of Pritha. This is actually, some people don't like this verse. They say, what? Why is Krishna saying, putting the women along with the lower birth, with the Vaishyas and Shudras? But actually, there are, I as a person, even I used to be, feeling very bad. Oh, I'm born as a woman and all that. For a long time in my life, I used to also want only a boy as a, to be born to me. And I didn't, I was not very happy, because, ultimately you do realize that the woman is, it appears in an inferior position, but Krishna says that, he actually describes in another verse how all these qualities are belonging to women. The highest qualities like intelligence, fame, all these belong to women. So in this particular verse, slightly controversial, he equates the women and the Vaishyas and Shudras together. But people, when they just look at this equation and they forget to see what is the real purport of this. Krishna is saying that they can all, there's no one who can't reach to my supreme destination. He says, even if you're born as a woman, why even? Because a woman is very distracted. She's very conscious of her body. She's also having a weaker body. She is very susceptible, very vulnerable. If she goes out, she is vulnerable. She may say, no, I'm equal to a man, but actually she's very vulnerable. She fails to see that. Society will make use of her. She can get cheated more easily than men. However intelligent or wise she is more gentle. She's created to be more, easily cheatable, because she is actually created to take care of the tender child. People will say, why should only the woman create? Why not why should only the woman take care? Why not the man? Well, that is how it is. You have got this particular body of a woman for whatever reason. You are born into a Vaishya family or Shudra family for whatever reason. And Krishna doesn't put them up or low. He just says that in spite of, not being like in a Brahmana position or in a male, in fact, it is in the Kali Yuga, everybody is Shudra. So there's no need to argue in the first place. Krishna himself says that, in Kali Yuga, everybody is Shudra, because we're all, just all the time working for, for someone. Mostly it's working for money, or, the Brahmana is a very elevated position who doesn't really work for money, doesn't work for someone. He's only giving jnana. Those kind of people are not there now. So all of these people, he says basically they can all reach Krishna's destination. Straight away they can surrender and reach to Krishna's destination. So this verse, many people will still not be able to agree to, but if you really contemplate, it will, there's no word in the Bhagavad Gita which you can deny. You cannot. If you really think about it, there is a lot of meaning to it. This is a beautiful final verse. Similar verse comes also in chapter 18. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvevam atmanam matparayanaha. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Offer obeisances and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. So what should we do? We have to engage in the name of Krishna, appearances, paraphernalia, pastimes. So all these, thinking about his paraphernalia, pastimes, and appearance are a little tough. The simplest in the Kali Yuga is the name. So we need to just keep chanting. Some point of the shlokas, and some say this is, some point at the shlokas and say, this is the Lord's ego. Krishna is saying, think about me, become my devotee, surrender to me. And this very feeling is actually because of envy. If a CEO of a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate visits one of his plants and instructs his employee to personally reach out to him if there are any problems, is that an ego? Krishna is coming personally to us with all his love and telling us, come. I know that there are so many problems. Come. Is that ego? Is that, is that he's boasting? No, it's his love. So these were the verses that we studied today. And let's end this class. I think it's already too late. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, everybody. Is anybody having anything to share? My video is not working. It's just going off every time I turn it on today. Anybody would like to share something? Amit Prabhu, Ankur Prabhu, Aranya Mataji, Lakita Mataji. I hope I have done justice to this chapter 9. Hare Krishna. Any sharings? If I have done any mistake, kindly forgive me. Radhe Radhe. Yes, Ankur. Yes, Ankur. Radhe Radhe.
Hare Krishna.
So I'm ending today's class. Thank you so much for being here and listening to me. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Lakita Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.